South Korea's parliament has voted for a second time to impeach President Yoon Suk Yeol. The vote follows his short-lived attempt to impose martial law. The first vote to impeach President Yoon was unsuccessful after the president's party walked out before voting could commence. Today, all 300 members of the nation's parliament participated in the vote. Joining me live now is CNN reporter Ivan Watson. Ivan, thank you for your time. What does this result mean for South Korea's government and its national stability?
Well, first and foremost, the president loses the powers of the presidency right now. He is suspended now that more than two-thirds of the lawmakers have voted for his impeachment. And that successful vote triggered, scenes of mass jubilation outside of the National Assembly, where a huge crowd in favor of impeachment had gathered. And then it was a freezing cold dance party, K-pop dance party out there after the impeachment went through. The powers of the presidency are now handed off to the prime minister, who serves as acting president. The question of stability in the country is a good one because South Korea and its government has been in a bit of limbo over the course of the last week and a half since President Yoon made his short-lived attempt at imposing martial law, which was rejected even by members of his own political party, some of whom voted for impeachment tonight. But now the questions of who leads the country has at least temporarily been resolved. The prime minister is going to step up for the time being.
And Ivan, could this result lead to a snap election?
Sure, but we're probably months and months away from that because though the impeachment has passed through the National Assembly, it then has to be approved by a constitutional court. And it has up to 180 days to rule on this. So we could be waiting for months for that. And then if it rules in favor of the impeachment, of completely removing President Yoon from his post, then the clock starts ticking. There's a 60-day deadline to hold elections. So again, it is likely to be months before we see another presidential election.
And there have been calls for Yoon's arrest. Does the vote's result mean his arrest is more likely now?
Sure, because you've had police raid the presidential offices. They have detained his former defense minister, who's believed to have been one of the key accomplices in the attempt to impose emergency martial law. He actually tried to commit suicide this week from detention, did not succeed with that. And there have been other top officials who are being investigated, several military commanders who've been suspended by the defense ministry. I do believe, though, that a trial would have to wait until after he's completely removed from office. And if you want a little context, it's 8 years ago that another South Korean president, Park Geun-hye, she was impeached by the National Assembly, 90 days later, removed from office by the Constitutional Court. And then later she did go to trial and ended up behind bars. So South Korea has a history of imprisoning presidents who are convicted of crimes.
And Ivan, what do we know about the acting president, Han Duck-soo?
Well, it may not be an easy road ahead for him because he is being accused in some circles of not standing up against the, again, short-lived martial law effort or debacle of President Yoon from a week and a half ago. So we'll just have to see what happens moving forward. And how he will be accepted. There is polarization in the country. The president's own party, I believe at least 85 members from his own party who were in the National Assembly voted against impeachment. So he does still enjoy some support. And there are concerns from within that party about trying to hold on to the seats that they currently have. They have real fears that if there's an election, they could be wiped out, which is what happened after the previous president was impeached 8 years ago. But this is a fascinating thing that South Korea has gone through just now, and perhaps sets an example for other democracies around the world where partisan politics come into play after presidents commit allegations of crimes. In this case, I think that Korean society as a whole, across the political spectrum, viewed what President Yoon did as an unconstitutional attempt to overthrow decades of civilian governance. And in living history, South Koreans remember brutal military rule, martial law in the 1980s, and they resoundingly rejected that. And we saw that in the National Assembly today.